WSOU 89.5 FM, the loudest rock. I'm Valentino, and I'm here today with Tatiana from Jinjer. How you doing today?
Doing great, man. So excited for the music video's premiere tomorrow. As it's 24th of August, and yeah, doing great. It's another press day for me. Talking much, practicing my English. Yeah, English practice me too.
Yeah, I bet in a weird way, like, we're still kind of out of the pandemic, but we're kind of in it. So that's probably got to help the press in a little bit. You're not like scheduling interviews between certain tours. It's just kind of like, you're getting ready for the tour coming up, but it's also still kind of on the rise.
Yeah, I'm like so complaining about all the interviews that I'm doing right now because it's been like three months. It's more than 3 months already, since 11th of May. I've been doing interviews like every 2 days and like in the evening, and it's always like 3 or 4 interviews. So I'm just like, damn it. But then I realized if there would be if there was no pandemic, I would probably do this in between concerts, in between festivals, shows and stuff, and it's gonna be way harder. So yeah. So I'm trying to learn how to see positive things, like positive sides of things.
For a band that's been around like a decade, had huge influence in the music scene, you've obviously been interviewed a lot. Just kind of a curious question I have, is there one interview question that like you're just so sick of hearing that like every interviewer always brings up that's just like, oh?
Oh, there's so many. I don't even know where to start. Well, considering like if we talk about the interviews about new album, it's probably what was the process of writing music to the album. That's the question that I hate so much, because I don't know, because I'm never present during the like composing and when the guy's recording instruments, so I don't know. And I don't care. Yeah. At least it's, yeah, as soon as it's a good thing, like, it's as soon as the results are great, so I don't care.
Exactly
about the process.
And as long as again, the lyrics are good, your singing's good, it's like great, everything else will fall into place. I know it will. I trust the band members to do their parts. I'm gonna do mine.
Yeah, exactly. So I did my part. No questions asked. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, diving into the new record, very, very exciting. Wallflowers out this Friday. You've got the new single coming out tomorrow. I believe that's the title track. How are you feeling about the release date so close?
My palms are sweaty now because every time I'm asked this question, I'm so like, I'm excited. I'm excited, but I'm more because the music video is so interesting to watch, and it's something like it's interesting, because a lot of fans were haters, and they not ask us, but they kind of complain when we don't have a kind of like a story, in music videos, we don't tell story. And I was like, oh, come on, you guys, just go and watch some movie, and stuff. It's not a movie, it's just like promoting a song, and also, all the budget we use. It's not Hollywood, but this new music video is gonna be kicking, Yeah, I'm pretty excited, but of course I'm more excited about the release date of our new album. Yeah, that's a big thing for us.
Definitely. And again, obviously tomorrow the title track of the record, Wallflowers, is going to be premiered. What kind of made this the title track? You know, you mentioned that like you're most excited for this music video. Was this kind of story in your head when you were writing that song? Is that why it's the title of the album?
Yeah, no, I mean, first of all, the story that I like, the story of the music video is absolutely like we worked with a director, you know, and he has his own vision to that. So while I was writing the lyrics to the song, it was like completely different, and I couldn't even imagine this kind of images that's gonna be appear in the music video. No, like damn, but yeah, that's cool. And also I would like to say that the song Wallflower, it doesn't represent the whole album, you know. It's just, it happened so that we chose this word for to title the whole album, you know, because the first title was As I Boil Ice, you know, and it's basically the whole album has this direction, but because yeah, As I Boil Ice means that you do something that's absolutely useless and makes no sense, you know, and you cannot wait any results of, like, you know, after you've done something. So yeah, it's kind of like a tricky thing, and maybe a little bit confusing, but yeah, it is what it is.
Mm. Were a lot of these songs written in like the lockdown, or were they written like kind of post, like to when things started to open up?
They were written exactly during the lockdown. So I started writing in January, and I continued writing in April. You know, there was a chain of lockdowns in Ukraine, but it doesn't matter for me because I always stay at home, you know. Pandemic, it really didn't affect me that much as a person, you know, just as an individual. Of course, it affected us as a band, but as for me, I just like whatever. I don't go to restaurants that much, you know, so that's enough. Malls, uh, not really, because I don't need new clothes because I don't go out. So you see, um, it just didn't even matter for me much.
Mm.
Yeah,
And I
but
know,
everything, yeah, was written during lockdowns.
and I can almost sense, I know you were talking about you know, the song As I Boil Ice, like kind of being about frustration. I can imagine a little bit maybe in the lockdown lyrically, you know, you're maybe a little frustrated with just like the way things are going. You want to get on tour, you know. I'm sure that had to feature in to some degree.
Not really. You know, everything that I sing in this album is an maybe 10 years old, uh, 10 years old thoughts, you know. I mean, it's not that I was 10 years old when I started thinking about that, but I mean, it's a very old thoughts, and it's nothing doing with pandemic. Basically, pandemic just gave me a push to think about this once again, and just prepared me to actually to start talking about that.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's basically there's no pandemic based topics in this songs, you know. Yeah.
Well put, well put. I know it's like the record's more about just all of human existence, all of human emotions, regardless of the pandemic. And I think that's really beautiful.
Exactly. I bet every person in this world at least once thought about being useless, you know, or doing something wrong all the time, you know, and nothing, just like everything falls apart in their hands, you know, and they do so many mistakes and they cannot learn from them. See, it's an like forever topics, you know. Yeah.
Exactly. And what's nice about that is people are always going to relate to that. You know, I feel like it doesn't pigeonhole itself into this one time frame of 2020. It's, you
Yep.
know,
Yep.
whenever you listen to this record, you can relate and connect to that emotion, that theme. Another thing I definitely want to ask you, obviously going to America tour this fall. For all of our New York listeners, you guys are coming to Brooklyn on November 23rd. How
Yes.
excited are you to get back on tour?
Oh, there are no words to describe how excited we are. Especially, uh, we love to tour around the US. Especially, we love to tour around the US as a headliner, you know. And I'm really looking forward because it's gonna be so much fun uh, to have Suicide Silence as guests, special guests. It's marvelous, you know. It's wonderful, and I don't know, when I stuck in California last year for 6 months, I happened to communicate with the guys from Suicide Silence. Yeah, one I even get married to. Yeah, but um, they're so much fun to hang around with, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Yeah.
And that's the thing about a successful tour is if like you just have a good time hanging out with the opening acts, you're gonna have a good time on stage. It's gonna show. If it's like more of like a chore, like okay, I gotta do my pleasantries and get back to the tour bus, then it's gonna be a little obvious when you're on stage, you're not connecting as well. So another thing I want to talk to you a little bit about, obviously last year in November, you released a live in Melbourne, first live record for Jinjer. I want to ask, what was it like kind of hearing yourself live from a third party perspective? Obviously, when you're performing, you're kind of in it, you're focused, you're connecting with the crowd, you're harnessing the energy of the show. But like, when you're listening to it live, it's like almost got to be a very weird kind of third party experience.
It is. And you know what? That's the reason why I don't listen to our live performances, like our live shows that are being filmed or recorded. I feel very uncomfortable to do that, and I don't know, like I just like, oh my God, I just don't want to watch this. Don't get me wrong. I really love the audience. Everything is so great with the sound and blah, blah, blah. But for me, it's something that I don't want to. I just want to keep my actual pictures from the stage through my eyes, like this, and that's enough for me. I really don't want to see Jinjer from a point of view of a fan. It's interesting, but for me it's something like it scratches my brain a little bit, you know and the guys understand that. So I mean, okay, come on, you guys, if you say it's great, it's probably is. Yeah,
I absolutely love it. And I totally understand that though. I mean, like, even like I can't even like listen to my own voicemail and hear like how I sound on my voicemail. Never mind me
exactly.
singing a whole show.
Yes, that's the next thing that I wanted to say, that oh my God, I don't really like to hear my talking voice at all. And that's why I don't ever send voice messages to anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone. I kind of like let it disappear in the air, after I finish my sentence. Yeah.
I love it. I agree. I just rather call people than send a little voice message memo thing.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather text them because I'm good at texting. And some people, like one person once told me that, hey, when I communicate, he didn't meet me before, and we just communicated on Instagram, just with direct, indirect, and with direct messages. And so when he talked to me, he said, hey, when you texted me, you seem to be absolutely different person, because I know, because I really like to write and I don't like to talk at all. Yeah. Because while writing, I have some time to react, but to find words and stuff. So
Yeah. And definitely, I'm sure that goes back to like the songwriter brain of yours. You know, when you're writing a song, when you're writing lyrics to a song, you can really be careful and meticulous about every word you say. Same thing
Yes.
with texting, I'm sure.
Yes, yes. Uh, I'm that person who just I really try to pick right words. And since English is not my mother tongue, so it's hard for me to express my thoughts through speech, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. I try like I try to read books, you know, just to practice, but I don't know, it's just like a total chaos in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, shifting gears, going back into the new record. I want to ask, typically artists, when they're writing a record, they take inspiration from all sorts of media, whether it be other bands, movies, TV shows, art, paintings. On this record in particular, is there certain inspirations that you took from outside of you know, your own realm?
Yes. Yes, yes, and yes, and everything that you enumerated earlier.
Yeah.
Paintings, movies, of course, and everything outside and inside my room, and also inside my head, especially. Uh, the world is an inspiration source itself. So you just have to concentrate to focus on something, you know, on some particular subject, and try to write, like try to, I don't know, to like a snowball, you know, you make a very tiny little ball of snow and then try to just make it bigger by um you see, I don't know the English word about of that, so to explain that,
Yeah, like go off each
just
other
try
kind of
to,
thing.
yeah, yeah, just try to grow it around, you know, the mass. So yeah, everything can be like, you can write a poem about just a fly, for example, you know. That's beautiful. That's the beauty of language, any language. And if you have skills, which I don't have once, you know, in English, it's really hard for me. I need to work with dictionaries. I mean, digital dictionaries, but still, I have to enrich my vocabulary every time. And when I learn new words, if like if not, I mean, the songs help me to remember them, you know, because I constantly sing those words. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a good thing to practice and to yeah, to refresh your vocabulary. Yeah.
Mm. And I know obviously we're talking about, you know, other languages. You guys are based in the Ukraine. You've toured not just in the Ukraine, but in the US, all across the world. You guys have been touring. I do want to ask, do you see any like cultural differences when you tour in America versus other parts of the world?
Of course, especially when we're comparing Ukraine to the States, which is uncomparable. But yeah, the first thing we always talk about is that um, here in Ukraine, you always take off your shoes when you enter an apartment or house. You know, you leave your shoes um, near the door, you know, and then you put your slippers on, or you just walk barefoot. In America, as we know, as we see it from movies, people can even like go to bed with
Yeah.
their shoes on, which is kind of weird for us. And also in Ukraine, it's not very typical for people to smile to each other, to a stranger. You know, in the States, it was like it's a little bit intimidating. You know, when you are there for the first time. You know, yeah. Especially for
Yeah.
me, who is very like self-reserved, like I just sitting in my head, and usually I find myself like being this, like with this kind of grimace. But yeah, but you know, when you're there for like for the second time, it's easier, and you're just like, yeah, smiling. But it's better to do so than in Ukraine, when you buy some, like a cigarettes, for example, pack of cigarettes in the store. People, like the people who sell these things to you, they're absolutely unfriendly.
Yeah.
And a smile from a stranger can really change your day, and what it applies to me. So yeah, I really try to wish, like, have a good day every time I talk to like a cashier, yeah, like, you know what I mean, to people in service or something. I always try to be positive and be polite, first of all. Yeah,
Exactly. And I can imagine that's got to be a little bit of like so much of a culture shock when you come to America and you just go to a gas station. They're just like, "Hi, how are you? Great to see you
yeah,
again." It's just like,
yeah. And a
so
lot of people, like, if you go to a mall or like supermarket, people, hey, I like your tattoos. And you were like, what? You'll never see this in Ukraine.
yeah.
Never.
That's so
People just
funny.
don't, people just don't notice you, unless you're like really tattooed, but they will say nothing to you, nothing good. That's for sure. They would say something bad also, but maybe not not to your face, but maybe behind your back. But yeah.
And I know especially even like myself, I'm originally from the Rhode Island, New England area of America, and that's always very, as you say, you go to Walmart, like, "Hi, how are you? Good to see you." And I moved actually down to New York City, New Jersey, where it's still a little bit more rough down there. And like, you go to the gas station, it's like, "Okay, get your stuff, get out." you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's a little adjustment on the other way too. I can imagine.
Yeah, well, I probably would feel more comfortable in New Jersey when it's like, yeah, get out.
Yep. It's like, "Hi,
No
thank you.
smiles.
All right, bye."
Yeah.
Well, thank you again so much for talking with me today. I got one more question for you. And again, we really, really appreciate it. Mediator and Vortex in new music right now. They're topping the charts at WSOU. And we're just so excited to be supporting this new
Great,
record
thank
and
you.
having you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course, of course. My last question for you today is, what is one central thing you want fans to kind of take away from this new record, Wallflowers? Whether it be a theme, a lyric, or like something that you want fans to kind of walk away with when they hear this.
No, please don't walk away. I mean, like, everything, we do it for a reason, so we try to catch your attention rather than to distract it distract
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So walk away from what? I don't know. Like, we tried really hard, so everything is very into its place. So, and it's a whole thing, wholesome thing. So I wouldn't say that there's something that you should just close your eyes to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, there's not one theme to take away from the record. The whole record is just the record, listen to it, enjoy it.
Yeah, there's no theme, basically, because I don't know, all the songs are so different. That we have like a song from an interviewer about an interviewer in Ukraine, and then we have another song about sleeping paralysis. Another song is about being a symbolic, like being a media person, for example. So there's so many, and each song is equally valuable.
All good. All right, perfect. I know all the WSU listeners are ravenous to get into this record, hear this record, and all of your fans are too. So thank you again.
Yes, thank you very much, you guys.